which is to play. When I say play, forget that Felipe is here and going to grade you. When I say play, what do you think? Play. What do you think?
Mess around.
To mess around, absolutely. To play. To play. Play music, right? Tocar la guitarra, or whatever, something like that, right? No? To play, does anyone hear the voices of children? Children play, right? What else? What else might you do? Do you play board games, or play video games, or play soccer, or play table tennis? And the other elements of play. Do you play mind games on your partner? Do you play mind games on Felipe? You probably do. Is he playing mind games on you? You better believe it.
Oh yeah.
That's play. And play is something we define as we grow older a little bit differently. But I'll tell you, maybe outside of this class, I know Felipe does it right, but in a lot of classes you take, boy, and in the working world, people don't ask you to play. They don't want you to play. You have to work. You have to face reality. You have to get down to business, and you are not allowed to play. But in my world, which is my world, I mean, I've made it mine over these years, my job is to make play, to build play, to create play. And I think it is very much, I try to go back all the way to being a child again. And I'll just tell you that at the time, I was very much, that's a fiction. I swear it's a fiction.
Okay.
But I was an undergraduate at an Ivy League school, and I had a lot of hang-ups, and I was a singer. I had a very beautiful opera singing teacher. I was crazy about her. And she was, as old as my mother. She was not my mother, but she was as old as my mother. She's 45 and I was 20. But she would make me sing, and she would always touch me here, because that's where you're supposed to, from the diaphragm. And, I mean, you know what happened. I would be really, really scared. Every time she came around, she was beautiful, she smelled good and everything. I didn't have a girlfriend, and she touched me here, and I'm like, I can't sing at all. So, I just pushed it, and made it the mother. But that's the thing also that I do as a dramatist, is like that thing that's weird. I realized, first thing I thought is, I couldn't do that, that's too weird. And then the second thing I knew as a playwright is, no, I have to do that. Because that's the extreme. That's the thing that in one way or another is the boundary for us. I have to explore that boundary. So you're dead on. It's a freaky moment. One of the weirdest moments probably in the whole book.
I wasn't by myself.
You thought, why is Felipe making me read this? The good news is, whatever she does touching him here, he's able to sing. First he's able to breathe, and then he's able to sing. And you don't have to be a singer. I just think that, I hope you realize that the most important thing you can do for yourself and for the people you love is keep breathing. And that's harder than it sounds. I don't know, does anyone think about this? Does anyone do yoga or anything like this? I don't, I do not, but I know that I should. And I also know that it's about breathing. And if you don't breathe, you cut yourself off. And most people, who's an actor in them? Any actors?
Self-proclaimed.
Oh, no, that's good. That's the way it goes. My wife is an actress. My mother acted. I acted for a little while. And I know that, most of us tend to cut off our breath right about here. The whole point is to get it down here, get it down here. And the voice that comes up might surprise you. And it's in the play, that he doesn't know when it's like that. He doesn't know if he's going to fart or burp or make a beautiful sound. You don't know until you've done it. And that's, I think, part of it. I would say that has something to do with learning. You go out where you've never been before, you don't know if you're going to fail or embarrass yourself, but you got to do it.
And Play to the Heat, you talk about homosexuality.
Yes.
And I'm assuming you're straight since you're married, right?
You can assume, you just in the end.
After
We
seeing
never
your father
know.
naked, you're open to anything, I guess. What made you talk about these issues now that you're going to be talking about its continuation of Play to the Heat with the intimate lines?
Yeah.
You rarely see a straight dramatist talk about these issues.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I wonder about that. Why wouldn't a straight dramatist deal with gay characters? I have a lot of gay characters in my population of characters. You can read into it what you will. You know, it's up to you. But I would just say that, you know, I go where the drama is. So I'm very interested in people on the margins because I think they live very dramatic lives, just trying to find themselves. And, you know, margins include perhaps sexuality over time. You know, here's a very historic day. I don't know if people are aware that there were arguments in the Supreme Court about gay marriage. You know, it's a day that a lot of people are going to remember. Boy, they'll remember it if the ruling goes against them too,
exactly.
whatever happens. So it's full of drama. You know, I think any time that two people even consider coming together, it's dangerous, and it takes a lot of bravery, and it takes some skill, and it takes some dumb luck in order to even just get to that place, just to the sleeping together place. But certainly if your heart's there, it's not easy. So I thought, particularly with this character, that I wanted to make it hard on him. Hello. I wanted to make it as difficult as possible on this character. And in the world of boxing that I knew, because I was a boxer, I knew that about the scariest thing you could be a bad boxer, you could be a bad person, be a game guy, be a lot. I knew some of those guys. But to be gay in the box was to make it very, very difficult. So that's why I did it in that case. And I also did it just because I guess I had, you know, I have politics underneath, but it doesn't matter my politics. The drama matters. Because your politics will be your own too. And all I knew is that that particular young man in that moment in history was very alone. And his choices would be really harshly judged. And he wouldn't have very many people understanding him. And he was way out in the forefront. And that seemed like a very, very dramatic place to put a play. You know? So the idea of returning to him many years later, and now again in the age of AIDS, in the 80s, and the disco 80s in New York, and the bathhouse 80s in New York, is a very different kind of gay experience. Still just as dangerous. And indeed, as we're talking, dangerous even in terms of illness, but exciting, brave, full of desire. And you know, now a lot of other people may be doing the thing that he only dreamt of doing. The other thing is, in the play, I don't even know that Quinn is that gay. He thinks about it. A little bit like the kid in Joy the Desolate. Thinks about his mother. It doesn't mean he actually did it. He just thinks about it. You know, I mean, I don't know, does that count or not? It's kind of up to you. Yeah, he tries with a guy, you know, and look what happens. They beat each other up. You know, and then, boy, everybody tells him who he is. Has that ever happened to people in the room where people tell you what you are? You haven't even decided for yourself, and people are telling you who you are. And I think that's another thing I wanted to write about. You know, in the end, no one really knows. And not even ourselves until we try. So I kind of am very, very interested, at least in that possibility. You read the play, and then maybe you have to rethink it.
And it was just completely just addicting. I mean, I'm like, fiend. Like, what is, now I don't understand any Spanish. I'm like, what is fiend? You know, I'm looking for more pages, but, you know, it was just amazing. So I'm thankful for the opportunity to.
I'll give you more.
I know, I'm like, I've read almost this whole thing already, but it's amazing. I mean, I love your style. It just reminds me of like a grown man Cisneros, you know, because I'm used to the house on Maple